main one, all of which were
the
occupied
fuck?
by what he describes as elders who were dressed in white and had golden crowns on their heads. He describes his environment furthermore by saying that the throne produced flashes of lightning and rumbles of thunder, and that there were 7 lamps blazing in front of the main throne, lamps which he then details are the 7 spirits of God. Amongst all
Really?
of this is a lion,
So it's different from the
an
7
ox,
seals?
an eagle, and a creature that has a face like a man, all of which were covered with eyes and were equipped with a set of 6 wings. It's here where John sees a glimpse of the figure in the main throne, his right hand to be more precise, and sees that a scroll has been produced with writing on both sides,
7
which was
seals!
sealed with 7 seals. John tells us that the angel declares in 5:2, who is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll,
The Lamb
but
of
that no one
God.
in heaven could open the scroll, or even look inside of it. Saddened by this, John tells us that he wept, but that he then sees a lamb standing in the center of the throne. The lamb has 7 horns and 7 eyes, which we are told are the 7 spirits of God that were sent out into all of earth. The lamb appears to take the scroll from the right hand of the man in the throne, and when it had taken it, John tells us that the 4 creatures and the 24 elders all fell before the lamb, and that the lamb was worshipped for having been worthy to receive the scroll. But where do the 4 horsemen fit into all of this, I hear you ask? Well, the lamb proceeds to open the 7 seals, and John watches on as each seal is broken. In 6:2 he tells us, I watched as the lamb opened the first seal of the 7 seals. I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror, bent on conquest. In 6:3 he tells us, when the lamb opened the second seal, another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth, and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. In 6:5 through 6, John tells us, when the lamb opened the third seal,
Interesting.
I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures, saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine. When the lamb opens the 4th seal, John tells us that, I looked,
famine?
and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over 1/4 of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. It is these 4 riders who would become known as the 4 horsemen, and going by their biblical descriptions, you can see why they may have become so terrible to comprehend. For the most part, a common interpretation of these horsemen are that they represent a period of time where humans will be killed by a combination of wars, disease, famine, and things of the like. Going by what the Bible says, this seems to be pretty sound, what with the first horseman described as being bent on conquest, the second being described as taking peace from the earth and making men slay each other, the third representing high food prices, with the creature voicing a poor bartering deal, and the fourth outrightly
Oh my god,
being
it's like the
called
eggs.
death. All 4 of these horsemen are summed up in the final line of 6:8. They were given power over 1/4 of the earth to kill by sword, famine and plague, and by wild beasts of the earth. It becomes pretty obvious by this that the intentions of the horsemen are to wreak havoc and destruction upon the earth, but that each of them will go about it in a different way, targeting humanity in the ways it will affect them most.
Okay.
The very first horseman, sometimes referred to as the White Rider or simply Pestilence, is
Oh,
described
there he
as
is!
carrying a bow and wearing a victor's crown. A common interpretation of the White Rider is that he is associated with the plague or infectious disease, but the Bible does not seem to indicate this in the passage. How the first horseman came to represent pestilence isn't exactly known, though some will agree that the reference of plague in 6:8 likely corresponds to the first horseman, given that the other references, sword, famine, and wild beasts, may be easily attributed to the other three horsemen. But this is still largely up for debate. In a 1916 novel titled The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, the White Rider is described as bending his bow to spread pestilence, and that his arrows were infused with bacteria. Others see this White Rider as Jesus Christ, and that he is a representation of the spreading of his word, and not of disease. In fact, it's understood that there was a time where many saw this first White Rider as a benign figure, one who was Christ, or at least one who represented God, similarly to an angel. Christ does later appear on a white horse in Revelation 19, which may support the idea of this being Christ, particularly when you consider the colour white being a symbol of purity and righteousness. The line that refers to the White Rider wearing a crown can also be linked to Christ, suggesting that Christ is the King of all men, as well as the line that describes the White Rider as being a conqueror, in that Christ may be seen as the conqueror of evil. In a complete antithesis though, many today view the White Rider as not only the physical manifestation of pestilence, but also the Antichrist himself.
That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense.
The rider of the red horse is usually interpreted as representing war, and this is easy to understand why, given the
2 seconds. Never mind. 2 seconds. Cheers. Okay, Joe, keep watching for a sec. I'll be right back.
The line in 6.3 that reads, "Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth, and to make people kill each other." The bluntness of this description leaves little room for misidentification, and we can quite clearly see that the second horseman means business. He does not in any way symbolize any form of goodness, nor is he attributed with any redeeming qualities. His objective is stated clearly, that he is a menace, that he wants to spill blood. He is even presented with a sword in his description, furthermore facilitating his intentions for violence and mass slaughter. The fact that he is described as fiery also tells us that he is volatile, that he is wild, and that he is not the sort of character that one can negotiate with. His red colouring is also quite powerful, red being the colour of blood, and that red can invoke or represent a certain anger or intensity. In artwork, the second horseman is often seen holding his sword upwards, which you might say mirrors the same sort of pose a commander might strike before ordering his troops to stage an attack. Others have since seen the second horseman as a warrior, more specifically a Roman warrior, and that he represents the persecution of Christians by the Romans, hence the red colour that may have been linked to the Roman god of war Mars, who incidentally was also associated with the colour red. The third horseman, the rider of the black horse, is commonly referred to as famine, and we understand this for a few reasons. First of all, John tells us that the third horseman carries a pair of scales in his hand, which may allude to the way in which food would be measured out during times of famine.
Scales? Famine is the DOJ. We figured it out.
Of all the horsemen though, it is only the rider of the black horse that is accompanied by a voice, which John hears from the four creatures that are present in heaven.
I'll drop the link afterwards, yeah.
2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine, they announce. And given the meagre amounts that are suggested here for a day's worth of wages, it's clear to see how this horseman came to represent famine. It's implied that under these conditions of trade, one would certainly struggle to sustain themselves, let alone their families. Do not damage the oil and wine, the creature announces at the end of the sentence, and by this it can be derived that while the price of wheat and barley increases, the price of oil and wine remains the same, leading some to believe that this is because oil and wine were commodities of the rich, and that it would furthermore increase the divide between the wealthy and the poor, which would generate
It's Alex
resentment.
Ron. Oh my god, that's
It
genius.
implies that the rich will maintain that which they have and continue to thrive, but the poor will suffer more and more.
Famine is a
Something you
billionaire.
might say is happening today in terms of standards of
Famine's a
living.
capitalist.
By
Makes
this,
sense.
some argue that the divide between the rich and the poor is a direct correlation to how far along we are to these end times, and that if the divide continues, it may warrant a visit from famine and the other horsemen, thus triggering the cycle of the end
God.
times.
We're getting
Another
there IRL.
case is that the oil and wine are left
Bruce
alone to
Baylor.
serve as a cruel irony that may torture mankind, that while they can keep their wine and possibly even drink themselves into a state of merriment, they will still die as a result of starvation. Furthermore, wine and oil are not necessities to human nutrition, but wholesome wheat and other crops at the time would have been vital. By this, the ignoring of oil and wine is simply because the horseman knows that humans can live without it, and therefore doesn't bother trying to take it away from them. Others see the fact of oil and wine being left alone is so that Christianity can be preserved, given that oil and wine are both used in some sacraments and worship. The fourth horseman who rides the pale horse is simply named as Death.
No
and he is
man,
the only member
woo!
of the horsemen who is given a name. I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. You may also notice, based on the passage, Death is the only horseman who does not come equipped with something in his hands, whether this be a weapon or otherwise. You might say that Death is the weapon himself.
Norman is in Hades.
Instead, he is accompanied by Hades, which in Christian beliefs is a state of place of departed spirits, and not the Greek god of the underworld, although that might have looked pretty cool. Some illustrations see Death carrying a scythe, though the Bible makes no mention of this. Death may be the most mysterious of the horsemen, given that he doesn't have much of a description. In fact, the only thing that is really described about him is his horse, which is pale, which many may attribute to the colour of a corpse.
Oh, lovely.
Death's role appears to be quite obvious. He is there to either kill or to collect the souls of the dead. An interesting idea is that Death's presence is here to seek out the Romans, and along with the other horsemen, are to bring about the judgment of God. The death in this case isn't just a mortal death, but also a death of an era, more specifically the death or dissolution of the Roman Empire.
The end of 4.0, guys.
The wild beasts which are noted at the end of the sentence may refer to the inhabitants of the earth, once mankind has been wiped out. In our absence, animals would have the lay of the land, and it would be these wild beasts that dominate the face of the earth, in a similar way that dinosaurs once did. It's actually quite
Bongo would rule mankind.
Despite man's achievements in civilization and technology, eventually mankind will expire, and nature will reclaim that which it has lost due to our expansion as a species. Many Christians believe today that the horsemen will come to earth in either their physical form or the forms of pestilence, war, famine and death, which incidentally, you might say we are certainly seeing a lot of. It's with this thinking that many believers of this idea believe that the end times are in fact upon us. Others even associate the four horsemen with the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael and Uriel. And this may be due to the non-canonical biblical book of Enoch, which shows the archangels coming down to earth and destroying the Watchers and the Nephilim. Others believe that the four horsemen have already come, and that evidence of their presence has been documented throughout history. For example, you might associate the Crusades with that of the first horseman in terms of conquest, or you may associate pretty much every war that's ever happened with that of the second horseman. Others look to the Great Famine of the 14th century as a connection to the third horseman. But of course, these are likely just coincidences, given that the horsemen are considered to represent the end times, and we're still very much here, for now. Perhaps then it is a cautionary tale, and we are being drip-fed some of the punishments that will be thrust upon us by what the Bible describes as the end times. We understand that the Book of Revelations has served believers since the earliest times as a warning to walk in a righteous path and to be humble in the eyes of God, as well as to goad the wicked into changing their ways, lest they face pestilence, war, famine, and death. But let me know what you think about each of the four horsemen, and some of the tales you've heard regarding these imposing, threatening figures.
Okay.
Have these calamities that are colourfully detailed in the Bible already befallen us, as we've seen in many disasters across the world? Or is this just a preview of what is in store when the 7 seals are eventually broken?
Great. Fantastic. There's nothing too crazy. That was a very well made video. Fox, I sent the link in my chat. I feel like the only thing that I really got out of that was the scales and possibly being angels. Okay. All right, we need to write up what happened yesterday. So let's do that for now. You don't trust this John guy? Wait, you want about the John that went and wrote about everything? One-armed bandit shot. Let's do sword with faceless. On the 15th of March. Receive a call from the faceless. They claim that it is them that has been flooding the city with weapons. Specifically, they used the word flood. Make believe that when they previously stated that operation Red Torrent was starting this reference do. I have got that one recorded, but I don't think it's necessary. That was the only really important thing in there. Okay, we need to go to the Chicken Man report. Because we now know that for whatever reason... Snow and Jenny were being chased by the Chicken Man yesterday. I think we'll do it in a new report. Becky Snow. Jenny Hall. Jenny Hall. Chicken Bad. Eggs. Skin Man. On the 14th of March 2025, Sock was having a conversation Jackie Snow and Jenny. Sock had met up with them to see if they remembered any details on chicken that day, but said they mentioned how the man had been chasing them around all day during the meeting. Even turned up and watched. They had also spoken with Pestilence earlier in the day, and it was after after that talk that the PM turned up and started. Okay. Right. What other reports have I got to write? Nice to have a little cheeky break. Invalid subpoena. $40 of March 5. A call from John Bailey informing him that he had spoken with Pestilence. Dr. Smith stated that he had been handed a subpoena, but his name was forming the case. Board John. All right. What's the subpoena number? It was a while ago, huh? Where is it? Hmm. I'm blind now. I know it was made by Charlotte. There we go. Wherever it was spelled. Yo. What else do I need to write a report on? So much happened yesterday. Probably I'll talk with Pestilence. A meeting with Pest. On the 14th of March, 2025. I was overlooking the lighthouse. See if anyone was making contact. Either Smith, Norman. Dr. Smith pulled into drive of the house in his black. He then pulled dark. Somehow knowing he was on the hill overwatching him. And stated that he would come up and meet him face. While they were on the phone, a black Porsche. Porsche? How do you spell Porsche? Like that. With two people side pulled up. And looked like they trying to talk to Dr. Smith. Right. So what did I fucking write? Let's see. Notes from the meeting. Honestly, it's not worth writing it all out. I'd rather write like this. He has seen all of our suffering. Not feel it. Has seen what is to come. You are not prepared. My kind should not... What was it? Should not meld. This was in reference... Also, my kind should not meld with mortals. That's what he said, right? Hypocrite! Hypocrite! I didn't realize it till now. Stated that found himself Isaac Smith a young age. What else did he say? Pestilence guided, pushed Isaac to one of the best medical of his time. Mentioned the garden. Inflicts pain and suffering to remind us that we are alive. He wants us to he doesn't say that, I think. Wants to persist. The timeline for the end. Yeah, what are you two scheming in chat? What have I done here? Is being sped up because of Norman. That is Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, hold on. He said that we are on page 5 of the book. This was in response to a question of how close we are. Norman had stabbed the pestilence. He had visible sounded like he was, I remember this, carrying glass objects. Let's see, vows of cure. Stated it was blood for blood. Okay, that's pretty much all I got. I think I just got a text message. Oh, someone's interested in joining the Marshals. Scott Blair. Okay, I'll add him to the list. Get that number. Bookmarks. Interest. Oh, oh, Blair Scott. Nice. I'm just gonna take some back because right now I can't really. We'll be in touch soon for an. Oops. Nearly unlocked the whole place. Let the chicken man in. My bad. Where are we at on the Plague Master doc? Has anyone actually done anything? Hey, what is this? Oh, it's a doctor document. Rated by blank. Oh, it's been updated. Balto sick? Good. Snoopy sick? Good. Tessa's sick? Oh, she's not sick anymore. Damn it, dude. Wait, has Shira's been crossed off the list too? Interesting. Alright, I'm sick of writing reports now. This one's the plague messed it up. Has this been updated? When was this last updated? 28th of Feb? Oh my god. Okay. That's not great. Can we get the speaker music off, please? Who did this? The Dead? Where's that? Oh, yeah. Literally, the last update in terms of things was me, but they got here. Oh my god, where did all the cops go? I think I want to do... Oh my god, I'm nearly dead. Oh. I'm gonna do a little... You know what we haven't done in a while? Just, we called them faceless patrols, but at this point... Oh my god, you scared the shit out of me, man. We need to do, like, a horseman patrol. We need to go to, like... We need to go to, like, the humane labs. You see that car then? I don't know. It must have been nothing. It was probably the wind. We'll go to humane labs, we'll go to the lighthouse. Just do a little check around, you know? After watching the videos, do I have any new theories? Not really. I think I'm going to rewatch it in a bit. And we're going to put everything on the board. I really want to get this board updated. Because there's so much info. that we just need to get down somewhere that's like visually capable of understanding, you know? Because like you put everything in reports, that's one thing, but unless you can like look at something and be like, okay, that tied together. Why are these cars showing up now? I don't remember ever seeing those before. Honestly, one theory that I did get is that if we ever see Pestilence going to fucking Mosley's to change the color of his car, it means that fucking Famine's here. Because Famine probably wants that color black, you know? There's another one! The fuck? What other would he even choose? Yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't it be so cute if they both had white cars, though? Brothers, twins. Both have white cars. That'd be so cute, you know? Bros getting along. Run Pixel. What the fuck? What is going on? Connor, stop it. Connor, do you have a panel, by the way? I never really asked that. You and Ziggy have admin panels? Don't stare. Tornadoes just spawn more frequently lately? What tornadoes? Starting to hallucinate pesto. Dude, if that was like a fucking... Imagine that was like a plugin. And you could just like click on a player and be like, spawn these cars around here. I'm just getting fucked over right now. You don't have a... That's crazy. Matt has a bomb, a grenade, and an AK on him. Hello? Okay. I'm assuming that's Matthew Anto. And not our husband there. Where am I going? This way. I really hope when 5.0 comes around that they trust a lot more people with panels. Like even just make like an RP panel or something, you know? Like one that like you can't kick or ban anybody, you know, it's like a safe panel. But to be fair, if you're giving someone on a panel in the first place, you should just be able to trust them that they're not going to do it. Yeah, like a DM panel. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Have I ever asked for it? No. I would love a panel, but I don't think I deserve a panel because I haven't really, like... I think the people who deserve panels are, like, the people that have put in effort into, like, these crazy-ass stories and don't have a panel. Try asking. You're not wrong. You don't ask, you don't get. Trying to make a serial killer character? I don't know what I'd do with a panel. The thing is, I think there's a really difficult thing because I'd love to do like events and quests and shit. Obviously right now I'm playing a cop character, and I was thinking like, what could I do? But even the things I was thinking about were like events for criminals. Like I was thinking like, what can we do to like give cops more shit, but from this side of things? But I think it's difficult to kind of do it from this side for a cop. If I was a criminal, I'd be able to make shit tons of events for cops, you know what I mean? But I also miss cops whenever there's a challenge outfits everywhere. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, it was so nice to just be able to, like, grab something out of your trunk, you know what I mean? Yeah, mate. Just come in and have a look around there.
You want something? Look at the shit you got yourself in.
Sorry. Have a quick look around. But is it touch maybe given? Yeah, I heard about that, yeah. I'll be honest, I think if Connor and those pestilence got a panel, I think this would turn into a horror movie, even more than it already is. Like, can you imagine fucking pestilence? Like, literally just turning up, but, like, invisible, and just fucking talking in your head, dude? My God. Just open. What is this? Connor was his favorite up here? Hell yeah, dude. Connor, you hearing that? You better mess this button and get yourself a fucking panel. Yeah, I think 5.0, they just need to develop, like, a DM panel that is just, like, props, invis, you know, like, looking around for people so you know where people are. What else? I don't know what else. I can't remember what else. Like spawning shit. Yeah, I can't remember what else there is on there, but weather, that's another good one. Yeah, basically just nothing that is like an actual admin needs. You know, like nothing like reporting a player or banning a player or kicking a player. None of that shit. Just remove that stuff and then rename it to a DM panel and you saw it. Weather change is so good for me. Yeah. I mean, like, remember when fucking the Faceless brought us to that island and there was a woman fucking strapped to a tree that had been murdered? Like, that's the kind of shit that the DM panel should allow you to do. Fart sound? No. Wait, unless you're on about, like, the shit that fucking Toby does where he makes people poo. Because that should definitely be on the DM panel. Well, there's dodgy because what about if multiple... Okay, simple solution to that is everybody who gets a DM panel gets added to a DM group chat. And everybody who's in there is just like, hey guys, I'm going to change the weather for a bit. That's what I'm doing. Don't worry, it's just me doing things. People are going to read that. I think if you're given the privilege of having a DM panel, then I think people would, because you don't want to ruin it. You know? Nothing in here. But they can be isolated. Wait, is it actually like a thing that devs and shit can do? Is they can like instantly change the weather in certain places? They can use sandy. Oh, that's sick, dude. Holy fuck. Yeah, that's badass, man. Dude, that'd be so cool. Why has nobody done a Mad Max event with a DM panel in fucking Sandy yet? Just imagine you get everybody set up with those fucking crazy cars. You know, like the crazy Mad Max cars, and like just as it's about to start, you fucking trigger a sandstorm. Dude, it'd be sick. When it rains, it usually means a Simone is crying. Oh my god. I think Toby did it yesterday with the storm. I think that was him. For the dramatic horror effect of seeing the chicken man in the rain outside. He did, yeah. I figured as much. But I did it yesterday. Yeah, it's sick, dude. I love that shit. What did you just say, Waxcore? What did you just say? The Lord Humongous Alpha. What is that? Oh, the Mad Max. Oh, yeah. I know what you're on about now. I'm so confused. The dumb shit admins that come out. Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, the ability to, like, fly around the map and, like, see where everybody is. Like, I'm sure they've, like, zoomed in and been like, uh-oh, what have I found here? They found the ERP room. Oh, Elo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, God. I can imagine some of this shit, man. I don't think I'm supposed to be seeing this right now. Yeah, I bet. If I'm looking at player blips, I see 2 blips and we're isolated. You don't go there. I would. It'd be great. Go there in Viz and put on the fucking, you know, that romantic jazz music. 3.0 Toby's doing that as camera was Norman and Pesto talking. They started to fuck with me, really? A bit careless, exactly. Get the sax in the background, and they'll freak out, fucking run off. An anonymous review on the ground is crazy. Yeah, we gotta be careful here. creeping Tom. Elo, just tell me everything he does, okay? I won't tell anybody if you don't. Doggy. I don't see anybody. Tomorrow, dog is gonna show up at the office with a report on all the horseman stuff. I wonder who was down here yesterday. I didn't take a photo. I know there was a black Porsche and then there was like that white 4-door. Nobody's here. Well, last time I said that, fucking Pesto drive down the road, so. You know how, like, Pestilence drives around at, like, 30 miles an hour when he drives past? Do you think, like, when he's aware you're going somewhere, he, like, fucking... He takes off the speed limit and he's going, like, 200 miles an hour? Just to get there? He's like, oh, shit. Dark's going to fucking overlook the lighthouse. Gotta fucking put pedal to the metal, man. Connor, confirm or deny? Confirm or deny? I wish. Yeah, I bet that thing's slow as fuck, dude. Don't cool down, please. What is that? The magazine. The amount of shit that's just thrown everywhere is crazy. Wanna upgrade the horsepower? Yeah, why the fuck is the horse of the apocalypse not like got tier 3 parts at least? Come on, man. -1, dude. Honestly, you should really ask a dev to give you a fucking V12 in that thing, Connor. Just to make it sound better, you know? There is one place I do want to check. Why is there trash on this bridge, dude? Don't worry, Normie. I got you, buddy. It's 1 horsepower, not multiple horsepower. I thought that was fucking Norman or somebody there.